We good? Hello, everyone. I'm about to make a little speech, so finish your conversations as they are now, and take a listen. All right, we all good? Cool. Hey, this is Daniel, by the way, for anybody that can't see me right now. This is me and Paige making a little speech over here. We wanted to just thank you guys for being here. You guys are all mine and Paige's closest friends and family. So we wanted to have you guys out here and experience our wedding with us and be a part of it. One thing that we get sad about concerning contemporary weddings is that you typically don't hear a ton from the bride and groom, and so that's why we wanted to have really personal vows and do a little speech for the family and then talk now, and just so that you can hear from us all like that. So in part of that same vein, I was going to go ahead and head off a lot of the questions you probably have for us that we're just going to be answering the same questions at every table. Because I'm very, very logical and organized and oh yeah, this will save us so much time, my gosh. So you've already heard our story leading up to how we met. That was part of the ceremony, so you know us. We've been dating about a year and a half, and now we're officially married. So where does life go from here, you might wonder? Well, Paige and I are currently on summer break, kind of. I'm a teacher, so I am on summer break. Paige is a student. She's taken one summer course. She's got homework due tomorrow night, so that'll be a super fun first honeymoon day, right? But our real honeymoon starts on Tuesday, when we're going to be beginning a 2-month honeymoon. Yeah! So we are flying to Las Vegas, and then we're renting a van and road tripping to Yosemite and Sequoia National Park, and then to Los Angeles for a few days, where we'll hang out there, and then kind of rendezvous with Brian and Stephanie right here, one of my groomsmen. They're moving to Hawaii, so we're going to spend a month and a half in Hawaii with them. Yay! Thank you, Brian and Stephanie. Great excuse for a honeymoon. So we'll be doing that for a month and a half there. Live with them for a little bit. We're doing a work away, which is where you work on a farm in exchange for free lodging and sometimes free food. So keeps the cost low. I am a teacher. I'm not loaded. I just work the system to stay places and eat for free. It's something I might be good at this point. Where we're going to live, we're going to be living in Rogers. So in addition to all of the wedding festivities that are happening this weekend and this week, turns out we're also planning to close on a house on Monday. So that's exciting. We're hopefully going to close on that. Everything goes well, and then we're going to move up there with my current roommates. They're going to come with us. Yeah, they're over there at that table. So we're going to be still living in a big clan. A couple married couples and another guy. Kyle, shout out. Glad you're here. Anybody can come visit us. That's right next to the Rogers Public Library. That's where it is. So really close to everyone. My 5-year plan, just to cover that one out professionally, is I enjoy teaching at NLAC. That's where I've been for a few years, and I really like teaching a lot. It's really fulfilling, and I've just really enjoyed it. It's a great fit. I love having summer breaks as well. I'm going to continue doing real estate investing, which I've been doing with my kind of roommates / business partners. So we're just trying to buy some houses here and there. So if anybody knows any houses that are a good fit, just tell me. Tell my real estate agent roommates. They would love to talk to you, I'm sure. So I'd like to continue doing that. And then maybe at some point start a product or service of some kind, with some of my ideas that I have. Just see what I can work with a side hustle, you know? So that's my general 5-year plan. And Paige was going to explain a little bit of her 5-year plan too here.
Not quite so planned out, but I hope to finish my degree in web development and find a job. And try to work mostly from home and do a lot of music stuff on the side, and maybe around 5 years start having kids is the general idea.
Yeah. Well, that's our general plan for a few years. So we'd love for all of you guys to continue being part of our story. as we move forward in life, now that we're officially a couple. We'd love to still keep seeing you guys anywhere and everywhere we can. So we're glad you guys are here. Kind of switch into some last little logistical things. Is there are yard games that we can put out over here if anybody wants to entertain themselves with yard games. We'll get that set up here pretty soon if they're not already set up, if anybody's interested. I also have a video message thing on my laptop right next to where you got food. So if anybody wants to leave me and Paige a video message, we'd love to hear from you guys. That's a great way, instead of having like a guest book, we're like, oh, why have a physical guest book that we'll have to keep and hold on to forever when we could just have digital storage? Yay! And a little more personal, all that stuff. So it's right over there on the other side of the cottage here. So we'd love for you guys to leave us a little video message at some point in the evening. What else? I guess that's that. We're going to immediately go cut the cake to get everybody their dessert, because I know you guys are ravenous, wanting some sugar. So we got to get that to you. And then we'll just schmooze and wine and dine a little bit, and then we'll probably start the dance party around, our toast, around 8 or so, I think. And then dance party after that with the approximate departure time of around 9:30. So if you want to stick around for that, you're welcome to. We'd love to have you, but we totally understand if you need to go on for the rest of the evening. So that was it. We're going to start schmoozing around with everybody now. So we'll see you guys. We'll talk to you there. Thanks for having us. Thanks for being here.
All right. Welcome, and thanks for coming today to this beautiful venue and joining us celebrating the union of Paige and Daniel. It's hard to believe that I'm toasting a second time in 3 weeks. My wallet's a bit thinner, but our family went from 5 to 7, and hopefully in a few years, several more. Paige, you're a beautiful young woman, so loving and caring, so many talents. I never heard of someone making flowers, but she made a bouquet and all the other flowers at the ceremony out of balsa wood shavings. She's amazing. I'm so happy you found someone special. Daniel, welcome to the family. After getting to know you, I think Paige is truly chosen wisely. Tammy and I have been happily married for over 32 years, and I'll give you some advice, the same I gave Jackie and Jesse. Compromise some. When arguments happen, they always do. Talk it out. Never leave angry, and tell each other you love each other every day. You'll always be my little girl, and I wish you and Daniel all the happiness in the world. To Paige and Daniel.
Hey, I'm Jackie, Paige's youngest sister. I've been super fortunate my whole life to follow two beautiful and wonderful examples. Everything I did, I wanted to be just like my sisters. I hated roller coasters as a kid because my oldest sister, Brittany, hated them. But when my middle sister, Paige, grew old enough to love them, I also loved them in return. Paige has been one of my best friends my entire life. Someone who was always in your corner, who has never been a stranger or an enemy. One of my favorite stories of Paige is when we were kids and we were at the public pool. I was too young and too weak of a swimmer to be in the main pool, so I was left to hang out in the kiddie pool with the other kids. And I guess Paige felt guilty about it and came to me later that night to ask if I was okay if I had been alone at the pool that day. Even then, her love was so caring and genuine and innocent. And that's just one small example of how precious and conscientious that she is. It's a special thing to be loved by Paige. I cherish our parking lot conversations and our deep dive analysis of TV shows, and how we can hold entire conversations and inside jokes, which to everyone else is just nonsense and fragments. I love you so much, and I'm so proud of you. And Daniel, you have the world. So. To Paige and Daniel.
Hello. All right. My name's Alexis, for those of you all who don't know me, and I feel like I have many relations to Paige. She's been my friend, and now she's my sister-in-law. And she's been my roommate for 3 years, so there's a lot of connections. I first met Paige at the Navigators on campus my freshman year. I met her within a month or two of coming to college and moving to Arkansas, all the things. I remember asking her to meet with me at the student union. I don't know if she remembers this, but I was studying a lot of things at the time and had a lot of opinions, and really wanted to carry on conversations with people about the things that I was learning, and most people weren't willing to hear me out all the way. And so I was always excited when there was anyone who wanted to actually listen, and Paige definitely did that and much more. She listened to me really well, and I wrote down some qualities that really stuck out to me from that conversation, and then these are the qualities that I've seen in her and other people love about her. And one of those being her lack of judgment. She was like the most judgment-free person I think I know, and she can make anyone feel comfortable and loved, and doesn't try to change people. She accepts them how they are, and that's always very freeing to me. She's also a very curious person, which is why she gets along with Daniel so much. She's also very curious. She's always learning new things and ready to do anything. Her listening skills, like I said, and she's incredibly empathetic, as anyone knows who's been around her. And up for anything, very adventurous, which leads me into my next part about all the adventures that I've had with Paige. It's called Adventures with Paige, because I could not even tell you how many adventures I've had with Paige. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. Because during my first few years of college, I would organize camping trips all the time, and I would invite anyone and everyone who was interested in going. I've taken so many people camping, and Paige was with me so very many times. Even when we went canoeing down the Buffalo this week with the family, Andrew pointed out a camping spot on the side of the river that we camped there with Paige at, and I was like, oh, I forgot about that one. It's like just one of the 100 or whatever. So, my Paige. However, I will say there is one particular trip that stands out more than the rest, and I'm sure she knows what that is. That was when we decided to take a 2-week road trip to Colorado. It was just me, Paige, and our friend Katie, who is now living in Colorado, interestingly enough. We had no idea what we were doing when we planned it. So I will say our original plan was to drive to Denver, take turns driving, start out from Fayetteville. Then we wanted to do an overnight mountain biking trip, okay, in the Colorado mountains. Then go on to the Tetons in Wyoming and do an overnight canoe trip. Then move on to Yellowstone, do 3 days backpacking, and drive home. Well, what actually happened was, for one, we had no experience mountain biking. So we got there and we realized this is like 10,000, at least 10,000 feet in the mountains where we were going to plan to do this. I had the trail and we were like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And so we ended up renting some bikes for an afternoon just at the base of the mountain. It was flat. It should have been fine. It was on a rocky road, but 3 bikes, 6 tires, 5 out of 6 of the tires busted on that trip. We walked them all the way back in the pouring rain, in my opinion. So that was one thing. Then we went on to the Tetons, planning to do the overnight canoe trip. Once again, not going to happen. We're not prepared to do an overnight trip. So we did half-a-day trip, which required hitchhiking, which was our first time, all of us, our first time to ever hitchhike, and we were all so scared. You know, this is like the one thing your parents tell you never to do, and we were doing it all together. So that was quite an experience. And then when we actually got on the river, we hit what later we found out to be was the octopus whirlpool, and all of our canoes got sucked down in that whirlpool. And actually, Paige and I performed a rescue mission and yanked that canoe right up at the last minute before it was going to be gone, along with all of our cell phones and keys and everything else. So we swam that to shore in the very cold water. I was really proud of us. And then we moved on to Yellowstone and found out that we were really in bear country, which, you know, we knew that, but then we kind of didn't. And then we got there and we're like, well, this is serious. So, and we found out that Paige is like really scared of bears. We didn't know that before. Once we got there, she was like, guys, we've got to get that bear spray. It's got to be the strong stuff. It can spray really far. We've got to take all the protection. And then when we were on the trail, we came across a guy doing it by himself who was carrying an assault rifle because he was so nervous about the grizzly bears. And Paige just like lost it after that. She was like, "We're out here, 3 girls, we don't know what we're doing, and this guy's with an assault rifle." Man. Not to mention we got swarmed by mosquitoes, and we ended up ditching that trip anyways because we couldn't take the mosquitoes and the bears. It was all too much. So, needless to say, all the crazy things that happened, there's actually more things. Those are just like the highlights. But it was a crazy trip, lighthearted, but it was so fun. One of my favorite memories, really, because Paige and Katie are super musical. I'm not as much, but I'm learning. And we came up with songs about the bad things that happened to us, about the bike tires that busted, about the octopus that we didn't know about in the water. And we spoke in accents like at least half the time. It was a super fun trip. So moving on to Daniel, we've talked about this, but Andrew and I really had been secretly trying to set them up for years, at least like 6 years ago. So, and it went on for years. We kind of realized it wasn't gonna happen because anytime we brought it up, nothing like really sparked. Neither of them continued with it. But Andrew and I would make remarks to each other all the time. And one time we almost set them up on a blind date because like, dang it, we can't get either one of them to like vocalize interest. But I bet if we just put them together, they would hit it off. And then eventually I gave up, and then look what happened. So I don't know. And like I said at the rehearsal dinner last night, for those of you who weren't here, when they did get together, fall of 2019, what I remember is having a night in the house because we were roommates, talking about the Power siblings, giving an update on what was happening, and I talked about Daniel. Something sparked, and I was like, Paige, you should message Daniel again. Like, I think you guys have a lot in common. Here I was trying to throw out the whole dating thing again, even though I had given up. And I remember her saying she would think about it. And then within a week or two, I don't know how all things went down, other things happened, but sure enough, she messaged him, and then they're together. And within that week, Daniel and I were sitting in the car together. We'd been doing a family thing or something, and he said, you know, I've got like 4 girls I'm supposed to be seeing right now. People set me up on dates, and there's this girl I'm interested in, but I like Paige. Do you think it's okay for me to still go on a date with her this week? And I was, you know, trying not to mess it up. I really think it's okay. So then I wanted to move on to 5 things to know about being in the Power family, since I've been it officially for 4 years now, but more like 8 years. So, number 1, family vacations are not for sitting around. You haven't been on one yet. It's coming. Number 2, you will learn all the small towns along your road trip route, courtesy of a particular small bladder in the family. Those of you who know. Number 3, if you are late for dinner, even if it's your birthday dinner, don't expect them to wait for you. Number 4, expect to meet strangers regularly in Northwest Arkansas who say they know the Power family, because that happens to me all the time. Number 5, remember now that you have a whole other side of the family who will be there for you anytime you ask. So as far as the future goes, I'm really excited because not only are they my friends, but they're also my family. And I'm excited to raise kids together, hopefully, and keep inviting each other over for fun, creative activities such as documentary nights, show and tells, and all the creative things that especially Daniel and Andrew come up with. And being trip buddies, because I'm really excited about that. And we even talked about maybe doing an international trip together within the next year. So we'll see. So cheers to Paige and Daniel and the future of their life together.
All right, I just want to confirm, Daniel, before I start, am I the last person to speak?
I think so. I think you're
Okay.
the last officials.
Okay, very good. Hey, everybody. I'm Braden. I'm Daniel's best man. I've been friends with Daniel for a very long time, which could lend itself to way too many stories, and I'm not going to tell them all. So I'll just cut right to the point. First of all, before I talk about you, Bruce and Donna, thank y'all for being a part of, you know, my formation too, and allowing me to be a part of your home, just as much as Daniel got to be a part of my home. Growing up in the same neighborhood lent itself to the opportunity to like do nothing but spend all of our time at each other's houses, and that was always really great. So something that resonated with me when you were talking earlier was the fact that we've all played a part in their story, right? And I just wanted to thank you because you've played a big part in my story as well. And so, more than anything, I wanted to tell you guys that the cool thing about marriage is that friendships don't stop when you get married. They get to continue, and you take them to a whole new level, and they get to flourish in a totally different way. And that means that we get to continue deep conversations, just like everything that we've talked about over the years, and spend time forming the best and the worst of each other. And I'm thankful for all of that. Now that we're all going to be married buddies, don't ever think that you guys don't have people that you can come talk to about the things that are going on. Whether it's the best of life or the worst of life, you're always going to have people that you can come confide in. And I just want to say I love being married. It's the coolest thing in the world. It is the highest purpose that I feel like I have ever been called to in my entire life. And I'm thankful to the Lord every single day that I have the opportunity to grow next to somebody and be a part of the close personal development of another person. And everything that we've all heard tonight from you guys' story sounds like you are very attuned to each other's spirits in that way and want to be a very close part of each other's development as you go. And so cheers to that and the opportunity to grow together with you for a long time. So cheers to Daniel and to Paige. Now, can I start the party? Because
we have the first dances to go.
Oh.
So
there's some really important dances that need to happen too. So those are going to happen now, which is really great. I don't know who's going first or what. It's probably not my job, but let's do it!
Yeah! MC Jesse in the house.